Hey everyone, welcome to Jimmy John's Field for another matchup between the Utica Unicorns and the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Alongside Jason Ross Jr., I'm Jenna Rose here on the USPBL Network. Come join us as we celebrate those who serve our community for Heroes Night, brought to you by Belfour Restoration. Looking at today's matchup, we have two starters who are looking to be the heroes in their own sense for both teams. AJ Coleman will take the bump for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, and for the Utica Unicorns, it'll be Miguel Sereno. But Jason, you had the opportunity to speak with AJ earlier today. What are you looking for from him during today's start?
Well, AJ told us he loves to embrace a challenge, and the challenge today will be a Unicorns lineup that has collected the most hits in the USPBL so far this season, and a Unicorns team that has only lost consecutive games once so far this year. They are fresh off a 6-5 loss to the Mammoths this past weekend, but when you examine Coleman's arsenal, the middle infield behind him has to be ready because he induces a lot of ground ball contact, a lot of weak contact overall with a 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball, curve, and changeup. One of his goals in particular is working that 4-seam fastball in on the hands of lefties, inducing weak contact, staying efficient, and working ahead in the count, all at the top of the priority list today for the former Cincinnati Bearcat.
And when we look at the Utica Unicorns side of things, right-hander Miguel Sereno will take the mound. We look at his last start, which was against the West Side Woolly Mammoths, and that was the first time he was able to get into 5 innings of work so far this season. But during that span, he allowed 4 earned runs off of 7 hits. And really, having a conversation with him, he said what he takes from that is that he needs to work on his pitch sequencing as he gets deeper into the game. Typically, opposing batters are hitting 500 off of Sereno the third trip through the order. So for him, pitch sequencing is a must. Looking at his arsenal, typically utilizing that 2-seam, 4-seam, and changeup. We can see that opposing batters are starting to sit on that changeup, and they've seen him so much this season. That's one of the reasons here in the USPBL can get a little tricky for pitchers, but Sereno is going to stay confident in his stuff and rework his pitch sequencing as he gets deeper into the game. And he's also working on implementing that slider, which has been feeling good for him so far in recent games. So that's what we can see from Sereno on the Unicorn side of things. But Jason, we have an exciting new addition for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers in Santiago, who also has some ties with Coleman.
Yeah, I mentioned the middle infield behind Coleman. It'll look a little different today with the addition of Eric Santiago, another former Cincinnati Bearcat. The manager of the Beavers, Ed Campanella, was looking for a new middle infielder and found it in Eric Santiago, who was actually looking for a spot to play baseball. He was in the MLB Draft League prior to reaching out to his good friend AJ Coleman, who he played 3 years with in Cincinnati, and saying, hey, are there any USPBL teams who need a new middle infielder? Coleman said, well, your timing couldn't be any more perfect because my manager was looking for one. And when you examine the relationship between the two former Bearcats reunited as Beavers at the airport last night. Santiago passed his physical earlier this morning and has slotted in at shortstop today for a Beavers team that finds this move to be a bit advantageous in multiple ways. They can slide Keyshawn Lynch, who was more comfortable at second base, from shortstop to his more natural second. So really a win-win situation all around, and a very neat story between Beavers starter AJ Coleman and his good friend Eric Santiago.
I'm sure Santiago will get some reps in here today against the Unicorns, given that, as you mentioned earlier, Coleman typically does induce ground balls. But let's take a look at that Beavers lineup. Leading off is going to be Connor Bagneski out in center field. Right behind him will be Ron Williams Jr., who is the designated hitter, batting second. In the 3-hole is going to be Christian LeBoy out in right field. The cleanup hitter is going to be Travis McFarland manning first base. Playing second base, as Jason just mentioned, is going to be Keyshawn Lynch batting fifth. Roy Verdejo manning left field and will be batting sixth. Newest addition, Eric Santiago, making his debut for the Beavers at shortstop. Manning the hot corner is going to be Nefi Mercedes batting eighth. And to round out the lineup is going to be Tyler Blom, who will be catching.
On the Unicorn side of things, Frankie Luxco will lead off as per usual, the left-hander. Nick DiNicola will have the DHing role, batting second. Drew Galassi will bat third and play in center field. Noah Childress will have the cleanup duties and play at third base. John Pinchman will play at first base and bat fifth. Colby Johnson is in right field and batting sixth. Donovan Curiel slides down to the 7th spot. He was batting second this past weekend. He'll play at shortstop. Isaac Phillips will bat eighth and play in left field, while John Hodo rounds out the lineup, batting ninth and playing at second base.
Beavers versus Unicorns, you don't want to miss it. We'll see you at game time.
Stop me. Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Jeremy Otto back alongside Jenna Rose to bring you the call here tonight. The third member of our crew, which you saw in the pregame show, Jason Ross Jr., will join us periodically throughout the game here tonight. So glad he could join us on Heroes Night, presented by Balfour and the following sponsors: AAA, Ascension, Budweiser, Balfour Property Restoration, DTE, Fifth Third Bank, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Valpak, and UWM. We thank all those fine partners for what they do for our league. As we get ready for this game here today, what do you think are some keys, Jenna?
Well, some keys for today's game is definitely going to come from the mound for both sides, specifically dialing into the Beavers for Coleman. It's going to be key to get ahead in the count, especially going up against a lineup that has power throughout. We've seen it in Luxco, we've seen it in Childress and Glossy. So it's going to be key for him to capitalize. And perversely, on the on the Unicorn side of things, for Sereno, it's going to be key for him to make sure that he's working his pitch sequencing, and we could see during his last start that it wasn't necessarily there as the innings rolled along, dived into 5 innings of work during that outing. But for both, plate discipline is going to be key, and for both, just putting the ball in play.
Some more fresh faces here today. I know you guys talked about it in the pregame show a little bit, but some new pitching as well. Heath Olive on the side of the Unicorns and Austin Shea of the Beavers. Shea will likely start going forward. He was a starter in the Frontier League coming over to the USPBL. He may see an inning here tonight just in relief as a sort of a bullpen outing here tonight, but I'd say we'd see more length from A.J. Coleman as a planned outing, and then Sereno is usually in the 4 to 5 inning mark, and I know Jim Essian wants to get in a number of arms here today. Ron Ray, Jack Ferguson, Sebastian Selway, Olive, Krenrich, all in that mix as well. It'll be Krenrich and Jones starting later this week for the Unicorns. And the Beavers have back-to-back games here today, so a little less flexibility with what they can do. Jake Kinney scheduled to start tomorrow. Cole Gidley will likely pitch in relief tomorrow if need be. Could probably be ready today. They're hoping to use both Cole Stanton and Charles Donovan if the opportunity presents itself. Beautiful night for baseball. Hot. It will be that way probably the rest of the week. Looking forward to first pitch when we get back on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Now, some pretty cool footage there that you saw. That was not live, but just about 5 minutes or so ago here at the ballpark, kind of circling ahead and then landing its way down right in the middle of the field, delivering tonight's game ball eventually. It's not a quick process because you got to shut everything down and then get yourself out, but there is the ball. Drew Galassi, Roy Verdejo out to receive it. It's got to be a pretty cool moment for those pilots as well.
Yeah, what an entrance. That reminded me of Jurassic Park a little bit. You know, in the beginning when they're coming in on the helicopter, dirt going around everywhere. Yeah. No dinosaurs, no mammoths here today.
And when it did leave us, we might see it here. I think we will. A bunch more dirt kind of swept up over the field, maybe giving the grounds crew a bit of anxiety, but not much of anything in terms of damage.
Yeah, well, there's enough left to play ball, and that's what's key for today.
Here we go. The wave. Might not be able to see the dirt, but it's a good shot of it rising up out of the ballpark regardless. And they exited just to the left, one of our light towers here.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about the USPBL, Jeremy, is the community support. Not only the fans coming in, but having nights like this supporting the heroes, getting to see the ambulances, the helicopter, and those who do so much for the community. It really means a lot, and I think that's so special when you look at this league.
So there is Miguel Sereno, the 6'1", 190-pound right-hander out of Puerto Rico, looking to make his ace start here tonight, 14th overall appearance. Carries a 3 ERA into play here today.
Yeah, Sereno is definitely looking to shake off his last performance, circling back to his last start, which was against the Mammoths, allowed 4 earned runs off of 7 hits. And as we talked about before the break, Jeremy, he was really saying that the issue came down to his pitch sequencing. So he was able to analyze what he's seeing today in the Beavers lineup. These opposing batters know what he has to throw, that 2-seam, 4-seam, and sprinkling in that changeup there. But something he's really been working on implementing and has been doing so successfully is his slider. So that's going to be one of the keys today for Sereno to find the strike zone, stay in command, and get off to that hot start to get the game going.
Reminder, you can chime in with us on Facebook and YouTube. We're on both platforms concurrently. Lynette Velasquez says, have a game number 22. Let's go Beavers. We have a Jake Kinney fan watching once again. Let's go number 44, John Pitchman, says John Pitchman as well. His father, I assume. Christopher Barger says, let's go Beavers. Player of the game will be number 20, Christian LeBoy here today. Also cheering on the new player for the Beavers, Austin Shea. We might see him for an inning. Like we talked about a little bit ago, he is slated to be a starter for this Beavers team, kind of relieving the void of Malik Barrington. So as they clear out these emergency vehicles here, Miguel Sereno having to take a break in between warm-up tosses before he gets it out. That's the one that got the most oohs and ahs, I think, when it rolled its way in. The SWAT car there.
Hey, after that one start where Sereno only had 5 minutes to warm up, I think he can really handle anything that gets thrown at him pregame.
So the Unicorns will play 3 games this week. Most teams will play at least 3. The doubleheader is the final 2 of the week for them on Saturday. This is only the second day of games again this week. Of course, you have tomorrow as the Beavers take on the Hoppers, and then Saturday it's the Unicorns and the Mammoths, and the Diamond Hoppers and the Beavers. Reminds you a little bit of Ghostbusters, doesn't it there? Is that what they took? Did they take one of those old ambulances and just make their car out of it?
You know, I really cannot tell you, Jeremy. Might not be doing my job as the analyst here, but definitely an interesting setup we have here today with the different vehicles rolling through.
Check the defense behind Miguel Sereno here today, brought to you by AAA. Dick Phillips in left, Drew Galassi, Johnson out and right. Or Colby Johnson, I should say. Drew Johnson is somebody from the past that I've called at the college ranks. Noah Childress at third, Donovan Curiel at short, John Hodo at second, John Pitchman over at first, and Frankie Luska behind the dish here tonight.
No, you're good, Jeremy. Names, they're getting hard, for real.
Well, and sometimes, you know, when you only write down the last name, and by this point, the guys who have been here, I kind of only write down the last names, but you know, sometimes we get them mixed up with pro guys, and you see them on the lineup card with only the last name. It's like, is that this guy? No, it's actually this name. A first pitch of around 7:12 here today as Connor Bagneski ranges to the plate.
Yeah, definitely one of the major threats in this Beavers lineup. However, seeing some unusual play from Bagneski so far. Hasn't recorded a hit in his last 2 games and is someone who so far in his career here in the USPBL has dominated at the plate.
First pitch to him is away, and I think we're kind of to the point. He's at 46 at-bats now, 47 possibly here if he gets on or gets out, but I think that's a pretty good threshold for allowing him to kind of be leading some of those categories, which he is. I mean, and he has been since he got here, but I guess an 800 on-base percentage after 5 at-bats doesn't mean a whole lot, but 46, a pretty good sample size. He's got a 441 average and a 587 on-base percentage thus far.
Yep, recording 15 hits in his last 34 at-bats.
And walking at a pretty good clip as well. That's why he sits so comfortably in this leadoff spot. Keyshawn Lynch was there really the whole part of the beginning of this season. 2-1, fastball in at 90 for strike 2. But his speed, his walkability, his ability to obviously put it in play at a high rate makes him a shoo-in for this spot. 2-2, wow. Sereno looking to get out of the way, but he olays the glove and it ends up in it.
Man, fast reflexes there by Serino, and hey, Bagneski timed it up well, sent it right up the middle, but that mitt was just in the way for Serino. Sure, that was a good wake-up call there on the mound.
Brings up Ron Williams Jr. now. It's him and Christian the Boy, your Zach Hart Agency top 3 in the order for the Beavers here tonight.
And you know, Jeremy, I really dropped the ball on my board. I accidentally put Ron Williams Jr. first, then Connor.
What are you going to do? It's close enough, right?
Close enough, yeah. Just don't have that good run with my scorebook so far. Now it's getting into my boards.
You left your scorebook here.
I did.
And you thought you had lost it forever. It's an expensive scorebook to leave. 1-0 is away, 2-0.
All right, I didn't think the fans needed to hear that one, but it's all right. You're not wrong.
I almost texted you, but I figured you knew it was here. So
Sure.
it was right in the spot when I arrived yesterday. 2-0 is in there for strike 1.
Well, our wonderful sideline reporter today, Jason Ross Jr., ripped me off a couple of pages from
There you
his.
go.
That's what we call teamwork.
There you go. Both of these hitters ahead in the count to begin this game here today. Slapped, wow. Right to gloves. Not really, I guess, but reaction plays aplenty here in the first.
I mean, it's just one of those instances where if they're able to find those gaps, they're going to be going through. So the Beavers are coming in hot with putting the ball in play, just sending it right to the pitcher and third baseman to kick off this game.
Now Christian the Boy, the last shot all of a sudden. 2 hard hit balls off of Miguel Serino. 60% fastball coming into the game here today. 27% changeup and 13% slider. Just 1 changeup thrown so far here today. But other than that, the 2-seam and the 4-seam mixed in. There's a 90-mile-an-hour fastball outside.
You're looking to see some more consistency from the boy, riding a 4-game hitless streak entering today, and he was hot as of the beginning of July.
2-0 swing and a miss. Certainly was able to slug his way up to around a 250 batting average. Conceivably wouldn't be surprised to see him inch back to that point.
The power's definitely there. We've seen it before, and you can just tell in his stature.
There's the first slider, just nipped Christian the Boy.
That's a pitch that Miguel Serino said that he's still trying to get comfortable with. Felt good in his last outing when it was utilized. However, we could see even heading into today's games with some warm-up throws on the mound. He was missing the catcher by a good distance. Might have to shake off the nerves entering into today.
That's the 6th hit by pitch of the season so far for Miguel. So almost sneaking out of this thing 1-2-3 after 2 hard hit balls right at himself. And Noah Childress now faces a runner on first base with Travis McFarland at the plate. He's certainly been able to elevate his average of late, helping elevate his team's batting average as well. Still the lowest out of all 4 U.S. PBL teams, but they've made some really good strides over the last 3 weeks. Quickly 0-2 on McFarland, trying to bury that fastball outside. 91 on the gun there. He's really been consistently all year long. 91.5 is kind of where he's been. Up to 95. .92, 93, not a rarity either. The 0-2. 3 fastballs, that one at 93, and able to bury strikeout number 17 on the fastball this year. So hit by pitch, stranded over at first base. And now down to Chelsea Estes for the first time today in stadium.
Hi, Johnny. How are you today? How's everyone here here at Jimmy John's Field tonight. It's a beautiful night for baseball. But I'm here with JJ, the field general, and it's time for JJ's sweetheart. And he found a very, very special fan in the stands today. He found Kristen, and she's being presented this beautiful bouquet of flowers presented by Thrifty Florist. And I also gotta say, it's my buddy Cruz's 8th birthday today. So what a great day to be at the ballpark. Johnny, back to you.
Thank you, Chelsea. And fans, make sure you... Attention, Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys.
A.J. Coleman, the 6'8", 240-pound native of Powell, Ohio, climbs atop the hill. An added pitch to his arsenal as of last week as well, mixing the cutter into things to go along with the two-seam, the curveball, and the changeup. At times that cutter looked more like a slider as well with the movement that it had on it last week, but he's kind of excited to bring that to his arsenal. Thinks it's a necessary piece.
Absolutely, it definitely helps incorporating more pitches to get to the next level, and it's always fun talking to Coleman heading into his starts. He's very aggressive, really appreciates that individual approach, the art of pitching, and is really excited to face some of the power bats heading into today for this Unicorns lineup, like Galassi, like Childress, and Luxka. So it's going to bring on a new challenge, and specifically heading into today, he really wanted to work on working the four-seam inside to lefties and, of course, change eye levels with his fastball and move it in and out as well. So interested to see how this all plays and how unfolds for him during the start.
Your Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up, Luska, DeNicola, and Galassi. Luska, 26 walks to 21 strikeouts, has been a on-base guy with those walks really all season long. First pitch strike, check the defense behind Coleman tonight, brought to you by AAA. Verdejo, Bagneski, LeBoy in the outfield, Mercedes, McFarland on the corners, Lynch and Santiago up the middle, and Blom behind the plate here today. Bagneski kind of shifting between center field and second base. Has played both positions really well. And that's something we've talked about with Willie Martin, certainly on the air and off the air, the director of player development here at the USPBL. Got to be versatile, but it's one thing to be versatile and, you know, maybe play this position okay, the next one pretty good, but he's been plus so far at both positions.
Definitely an exciting player to watch here in the USPBL, and so is Luxka. You talked about it before, 26 walks to 21 strikeouts for Coleman. He has to make sure that while you have a game plan, execution is key, especially with someone with this plate discipline.
There it is right there, really knowing the strike zone, didn't even think about offering at the pitch, and certainly it helps that he's catching today as well, because he's seen the whole first inning of what was granted to Mr. Sereno. Full count delivery outside. A leadoff walk for A.J. Coleman.
Will now make that 27 on Luxka's career here in the USPBL this season. I always do love those catcher-on-pitcher matchups. I feel like I say that every time one steps up in the box, but just that experience of how you've seen pitches arguably more than most batters have who haven't played that position, I think it's a huge advantage, and we can see it in the numbers.
DeNicola on the ground to Mercedes, a bit slow to try to turn two. They might anyway. Got it. 5, 4, 3, and the leadoff walk is erased here in the first.
Nicola aggressive in his 11th at bat. So far, we've seen it, especially with Coleman. He's going to be inducing those ground balls, so his infield knows that action is coming their way.
Here comes Drew Galassi, and despite struggling to hit a home run lately, he stormed down to 8 early home runs. Still slugging .629. Has added 3 doubles to the homers, and talked to Jim Essien about him before the game, and Jim is like, yeah, he's not hitting them out, certainly at the same clip that he did at the beginning of the year, but I just feel like he could hit one every time he's at the plate. And that's kind of how we felt as well.
Galassi definitely has that extra base power within him, but hey, if he's been a singles machine, just getting the ball in play, you can do some damage.
Fly ball to right center field, and Bagneski is going to get over to get that sinking fly ball into the right center field gap. We're still scoreless after 1.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward, not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Well, acknowledging various heroes throughout the game here today. That was Doree, a mammogram tech that worked through the pandemic. Hearing all the facts from Johnny G, your public address announcer. So we'll have a few of those sprinkled throughout the game here today. Jeremy Otto back alongside Jenna Rose to bring in the call today. Jason Ross Jr., the third member of our team here tonight. It'll be Keyshawn Lynch, Roy Verdejo, and Eric Santiago. Brought to you by Zach Hart Agency here in the second. And Sereno, I don't know if lucky is the right word. I mean, you can, have balls hit right at you, I guess, in a lot of ways, on the ground, on a line, in the air, but 2 really hot shots. One by Connor Bagneski, literally right back at Sereno. He bent his back trying to get out of the way, and then at the last second, just kind of squeaked that glove out for the first out. And then Ron Williams Jr., line 1 right to Childress, a little mini leap and a rise of the glove like a goalie trying to keep it out of the goal line, was able to snag it for out number 2. And then the hit by pitch by LeBoy and a strikeout by McFarland in an inning that could have bounced a few other ways, was pretty efficient in the end for Miguel.
Hey, whatever gets the outs, right?
15 pitches, so not too bad either, considering that Bagneski battled, hitting LeBoy on a 2-1 pitch as well. This one to Phillips and or Curiel. Ooh, Curiel was calling it. Not sure that Phillips realized that right away, but regardless, it's the first out here in the second.
I mean, looking at the rule of priority specifically in the outfield and middle infield, outfielders do have the call over shortstop in those situations, but it comes down to communication. Again, someone might not hear the other. As long as the catch is made, job's done.
And Phillips, fairly new to this roster as well, still trying to learn his teammates. And that's something that Noah Childress talked about, as he's kind of moved over to third. He played some first base to begin his professional career. But he's like, hey, I had to learn the range of Donovan and kind of the way to communicate to him when it's his ball or it's my ball. And he does a very good job, in the words of Childress, does Kurielov communicating exactly what he sees and what's he wants out of a play, certainly in the middle of the infield. Verdejo pokes this one, hugging the line, just foul.
And back to Curiel, he is one of the best shortstops in this league. You can see that displayed in his range, especially that aggressiveness. So, again, there are some learning curves, and that's not something that you always think about outside of the games watching as a fan. Those communication that you have to work on, getting to know your teammates, all comes down in gameplay.
Kevin Lambert, who's available on the bench today for the Unicorns, a brand new addition. Him and Tucker Rayburn, two new position players. There's Curiel again for the second out here. He's another guy, Rayburn that is, or Lambert, I beg your pardon, that can play the middle of the infield, play some third base as well. So this is a deep infield. Sounds like DeNicola will DH for the most part going forward, with Pitchman handling first base duties. So a lot of fresh faces, and that's something that you got to think about at this point in the season as well. Yes, we're in August, we're late, quote unquote, in the season, but with all these moves happening, everybody still trying to get used to each other as well.
It's a fresh look in the USPBL, and how fitting to bring that up with Eric Santiago's first at-bat here in the league. Showed some consistent power in college last season, had a .298 batting average through 53 games, 7 home runs, and 17 doubles. So definitely someone interested to see how he adjusts to the different velocities here in the USPBL, especially against a pitcher like Sereno, who can top out around 95.
Here's the 2-2. High, the fastball at 91. The velo has looked pretty good so far today for Miguel. Struck out Travis McFarland to end the first on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. That one vanishes into the right side of the seats. Did somebody miss it? Oh, no. Did it hit that left hand?
Oh, no. Give us the play-by-play, Jeremy. Can't see from here.
I couldn't either. That hand may be hurt, but he still got the ball. So maybe not as much. 3-2, just whittled foul. Another fastball at 93.
Santiago putting the work in for his first at-bat.
What you like to see, certainly is Ed Campanella, you'd think. Luska sets up outside the 3-2. Popped him up, and again, it'll reach it around the same spot. The fans oohing and eyeing, and he makes a nice catch off of Karam.
We talked about it before. Opposing batters definitely start to get the feel for pitchers here, given that you play the same 3 teams over and over, but this brings a new challenge for Sereno.
26th pitch is away, so back-to-back innings where he's retired the first 2 batters he's faced. LeBoy hit by a pitch, and now Santiago walk.
We can see they're missed away down in the dirt on Santiago there.
Nafi Mercedes and Tyler Blom, the bottom of the order here tonight, brought to you by Zach Hart Agency, 8-9 for Ed Campanella's team. Santiago, the only position player that was added to the Beavers. Shea, one of the new pitchers. In motion is Santiago, is going to swipe that bag.
Well, there we go. We know Santiago has some wheels. Definitely some fast players on the Beavers lineup, especially Bagneski, who leads off. And there's power all throughout this Beavers lineup, so that ability to be able to get on the base and to be able to do some damage is crucial.
Keyshawn Lynch, another guy who's run it pretty well when he's been on base, 6 for 6. And here tonight, they're kind of mixed in everywhere, 1, 5, and 7. Mercedes down 0-1 the pitch. 92 pulled in for strike 2. We could see some time behind the plate here today from the other newcomer positionally for the Unicorns, Tucker Rayburn. Sounds like he will catch both games of the doubleheader on Saturday for the Unicorns. Big pitch here, popped him up. Will it stay in play? Pitchman giving it his best. And like the helicopter that hovered over the field, able to make it into foul territory for the third out here in the second. Nothing becomes of the 2-out walk on the USPBL network.
Whenever my family wants to enjoy the great outdoors, we pack up my Chevy Blazer and go camping in style. It looks great, and with the cargo management system, we can bring all the comforts of home away from home. Plus, with available 4G LTE Wi-Fi, the kids can still stay connected with friends. Thanks to my Blazer, roughing it isn't rough at all.
Lease a 2021 Blazer 2 LT for just $219 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. We head to the bottom of the second inning. Jason Ross Jr. welcoming you back into our coverage. No score between the Unicorns and the Beavers. Well, we saw the new shortstop of the Beavers, Eric Santiago, draw a 9-pitch walk and then steal a base in his first USPBL plate appearance. An interesting story getting signed earlier this week by Beavers manager Ed Campanella, who was in search of another middle infielder, landed on Santiago, the former Cincinnati Bearcat. Actually played 3 years with the man on your screen right now, A.J. Coleman, in college. Santiago reached out to Coleman a couple of weeks ago and asked him, hey, is there any team in the USPBL looking for a new middle infielder? And Ed Campanella was in search of one, so naturally Coleman said, your timing cannot be any more perfect. And the two former Bearcats reunited as Beavers at the airport last night. Santiago passed a physical earlier today and was slotted into the lineup as a shortstop, which is advantageous for this Beavers team because they're able to slide Keyshawn Lynch back over to his more natural second base position from shortstop.
Well, timing, right place, right time is certainly always important. Good stuff from Jason there. Noah Childress, John Pitchman, and Colby Johnson. Your Zach Hart agency 3-men 2 up here in the second.
And just bringing that experience, having Coleman on the mound previously on a team together.
Yeah, that certainly helps, and I think anytime you see that at the professional level, it maybe calms your nerves a bit because it's not all the new faces, the whole new level. It can be quite daunting, I'm sure. Popped him up just off the handle part of the bat here. Mercedes sees that teardrop fall in for the first out here in the second.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of airtime there, but as we talked about it before, Coleman inducing ground balls, but weak contact is also a name of the game. Looking forward to see what he can do as we roll through this Unicorns lineup.
Brings up Pitchman now. A double and a home run. Otherwise, a 4 for 20 start. Does have 3 walks to 5 strikeouts. But certainly an at-bat, or a bat, that we think the power will translate fully. 19 home runs in college. The walk-off home run on Friday, the fireworks before the fireworks, as Jason said.
No, we've already kind of mentioned it. Stats can always be a little tricky in a small sample size, but someone who's already displayed their power second at bat in the league was intentionally walked. So he made a statement coming in.
Here's the 1-1. Way out in front of the looping curveball. 1-2.
It's a pitch he draws the most swings and misses on in Coleman's arsenal, that curve.
Chase the curveball again. That one way outside. Blom completing it over to McFarland. 2 up and 2 down here in the second.
Down and away in the dirt. Pitchman was just overly aggressive on that one there, wanting to put the ball in play, and that aggressiveness has panned out advantageously in previous at-bats, but sometimes you really just have to rein it in, especially in those situations with a pitcher who can throw some off-speed stuff to you.
So the numbers in the last start maybe a bit deceiving, the way it started at least, for A.J. Coleman. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, both earned. 2 walks and 6 strikeouts through 87 pitches, but through his first 3 innings only gave up 1 hit and was cruising along. It was a big couple runs, 7-batter inning that was able to separate the Mammoths in that game. 1-1 on Colby Johnson. He checks in at 234. Has shown a decent amount of plate discipline himself. Don't often see Coleman do that. He's all about catch and fire.
He's a batter that you want to have a specific game plan too, that's for sure.
In for strike 2. Blom's still a guy probably he's learning. Most of his outings have been caught by Austin Shoemaker to this point. Now the 1-2. Fastball high and away. 89 miles an hour. I think the pitching staff would like to see more 90, 91 if possible. And Shane McCaddy, who's just to the left of your screen there at field level, thinks he is a second gear that he can hit and kind of reach that point. 2-2 might be in the perfect spot for Johnson. Oh my goodness, Bagneski. The ground he covers steals away a hit. And I guess the one bugaboo to that one for Johnson as it hung up, if that one loops right down, it's probably a base hit. Connor Bagneski says absolutely not.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. Connor Bagneski helping out his pitcher A.J. Coleman to wrap up that last sequence you saw. Interesting because Bagneski actually grew up a second baseman. He used to take hundreds of ground balls each and every day from second base. So that's a position where I feel like home, but a guy who's so flexible really at any spot and with his body. He noted that flexibility is a big thing for him in the gym. Likes to get as loose as possible heading into games, does yoga with his personal trainer down in Florida to work on the legs and the core. We saw both of those things, Jeremy, involved in that last wonderful diving play.
Sure did, and he makes it look like he's used to playing second base and center field kind of concurrently throughout his career, but that's what the best do. They're able to kind of take advantage of what they have and make it look easy.
And something that I admire about Bagneski is just the way that he reads the ball off the bat. I talked to you about this during the commercial break, Jeremy, but it always can be a little goofy when you're not sure if you want to dive in head first to make the catch or do a basket catch. But obviously Bagneski, he just has that feel, has the eyes to be able to capitalize every time he's patrolling center.
That patented Maglio slide in between type thing that he used to do, tucking the leg in. Maglio Ordonez, of course, who played here in Detroit for the Chicago White Sox for a long time as well. Tyler Blom, Connor Bagneski, Ron Williams Jr., your Zach Hart agency, 3 men, 2 up here in the 3rd inning. How often do you see a guy like Bagneski come up very quickly after he makes a good play like that? .92-mile-an-hour fastball up high. Blom splitting time with Austin Shoemaker at that catcher's position, another guy that came over from the Frontier League. Was actually able to catch the newcomer a bit. Austin Shea played for the same team. Here's the even pitch now. It's a live fastball here today. You can feel it be a bit more heavy, it seems, from Sereno. Weather certainly feels a bit more heavy today. Really comfortable by night's end yesterday. Curiel has been busy. Records the first out in the 3rd. Sereno hasn't given up a hit so far. Just a hit by pitch and a walk thus far.
I could definitely see he had a little bit of nerves heading into today's game. Couldn't really exactly find the mid of the catcher heading into game time here, but he's finding a rhythm, starting to see that consistency here, and grounders will do the job. Outs are outs.
Childress pinching in as this one is just over the glove and head of Curiel. So there's the first hit of the ball game for either team.
Bagneski has been able to time up the ball well in this game, short amount of time, but we saw it before, that line out straight to Miguel up the middle, but having that nice poke there, and as we talked about before, that's one of his first hits in the last few games here. Doesn't take anything away from how productive he's been in his at-bats heading into those moments. But nice to get on, especially for this Beavers team looking to get a run on the board.
A subtle breeze, a bit more than yesterday, blowing to left center field. Both the American flag and pennants reading that. Ron Williams Jr., Christian LeBoy, 2-3 in the lineup today for Ed Campanella. It's a modest lead for Bagneski, but does it really matter?
Sereno knows what he's able to do when he's getting on base.
7 for 8 in the stolen base category so far this year. Staying home here as that fastball rains outside at 91. And Sereno a couple times here in this 3rd inning has kind of lost his footing at the front of the mound. Been trying to dig it up a bit more.
Maybe that helicopter moved around too much dirt.
Maybe. Maybe it floated some from the infield onto the pitcher's mound there. Here's the 1-0. Popped him up foul. Certainly a cool moment, though. If you did not catch it, you can rewind just before first pitch. Here on Heroes Day, presented by Balfour Property Restoration. The helicopter landing on the outfield grass just behind second base, eventually delivering the baseball.
Serino keeping a really close watch on Bagneski over at first.
He's moving. 1-1 fouled off. Fastball at 91. Looked like a pretty good jump for Bagneski.
I'm not really sure if I should be keeping my eye over on Bagneski while he's
true,
on
right?
first, or trying to see the action here with Williams Jr. at the plate. Something's going to happen in either spot.
How about you watch Bagneski? I'll watch Ron. It's about a 2-step lead for Connor to begin things. Here's the 1-2. He's moving again. Good pitch to throw on. Away from the second base bag, though. And there is stolen base number 8.
Bagneski definitely has that high IQ every time he steps on first base. Was able to read the situation with Serino and capitalize.
Second stolen base here tonight by Beavers' leg, Santiago, on his first appearance on the base pass. Had one as well, similar to what Christian Bullock did last night, the University of Michigan product, leadoff batter for the Mammoths. 92, straightened him up, 3-2 on the designated hitter tonight. So Serino's been a bit above his average at times here tonight. 91.5 coming to play tonight. 3-2, another 91-mile-an-hour fastball pounded foul.
Especially with that velocity coming in, just getting your barrel on the ball can do some damage if put into play.
Serino slowing things down here in the third. He's been pretty efficient today. Just a few base runners scattered between every inning, as that one is spoiled out of play. And it's almost like, you know, in general, you think of high leverage situations. Obviously late in a game, a closer, kind of every pitch matters if it's a closed game. But runners on second base, runners on third base, bases loaded. That's when you start thinking of high leverage. But with Bagneski out there, I mean, you mentioned he's staring at him 2-3 times in between pitches at first base. So it's almost like it starts right there when he's wreaking havoc. Phillips loses his cap, sends it to second, and they can't nip Bagneski from behind there.
Well, Serino was trying to work Ron Williams Jr. outside a bit there, has the ability to spray all fields, but Bagneski with a really big jump there at second. Didn't think that the outfielders were going to get the ball in time, but I was a little surprised he was able to beat out the throw, Jeremy. It looked like he got a pretty big jump over at second.
Using his speed to get back in that scenario right there.
That just goes to show if you know your range.
First pitch poured into Christian the Boy for strike one. Now the 0-1. A rare slider, at least today. It's really been mostly fastball. And not a lot of changeup. I mean, he throws his changeup a decent amount. I think that's only the second slider, maybe 2 or 3 changeups. 4, says Matt Snyder to our left. Or 4 sliders and 2 changeups. So I was a little backwards there, but regardless, he's thrown 43, so
yeah, well,
that shows you how many fastballs.
Dialing back to the first inning when LeBoy was hit by the pitch that was on a slider from Serino, so as he's been trying to implement it more, still trying to get that feel and command for it.
Hodo and Curiel jockeying behind Bagneski. And Hodo getting in position to collect the third out here of the third inning. One base runner every inning, kind of every way you can. Hit by pitch, walk, single. That's your fifth third out, fifth third. Fifth third bank, fifth third out of the game.
There we go. Good work, Jeremy.
And now we'll have JJ the Water Boy presented by Michigan First Credit Union here today. Little water to the base pass umpire. Takes a swig on a 85-degree day, and to Chelsea now.
Down here. All right, Thomas, Tommy, and Lance, you guys ready? On my count, 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, it's a little close. Lance has a little pep in his step tonight. But Tommy's coming close. Oh, he hit second. Keep hustling, Tommy. Oh, it's Lancelot's catching up to you. All right, fans, you got to cheer him on home. Come on, buddy. You got it. Oh, safe. Nice job, Lancelot. You were close.
There you go, your DTE Energy Kid Race the mascot here today. JJ cooling off a little bit early. It's too hot for him to do Frisbee, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I had to eat some Dippin' Dots heading up to the booth here, but man, can we talk about the speed on Lancelot there? He did not get a head start today, and I was a little nervous there for Thomas. That's for sure.
Nothing to be nervous about for A.J. Coleman so far here today. A leadoff walk, maybe that's the only thing to Frankie Luska, but then quickly on the first pitch to Nicola, got a 4-5-3 or 5-4-3 double play, and then they fly out off the bat of Drew Galassi to Bagneski in center. 1-2-3 inning in the second, pop out, strikeout, line out. Looks really good here tonight and kind of following the trend of what we saw from him as well. And the start last. I'm sure he's just trying to finish it out a bit more.
6 up, 6 down for Coleman so far, and that brings up a challenge. And Donovan Curiel, seeing him drop down a bit in the lineup, previously was in that 2 spot. However, he's someone who can really put the ball in play. He's recorded hits in 7 of his last 10 games.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe taking a little bit of pressure off him as well, but regardless, a good look in the 7-hole here today for the Unicorns. We're kind of talking about how balanced the Mammoth lineup is now with some of their acquisitions recently. I mean, they had Adrian Guzman hitting 7th, Jalen Smith hitting 9th. 2 hitters that are very capable and have done good work recently. Bare hand by Lynch, sweeping it past McFarland. Taking a wide turn is Curiel, still moving, looking, and heading to third, but they say he only gets second base in that scenario there as the ball scooted out of play.
Wow, I mean, just looking at Coleman, has that 6'8" frame, trying to bend down there. The ball just barely hopped over Lynch with the off-balance throw. Got to do what you can, and Curiel, hey, he has the speed for sure. Definitely a threat now out at second with Phillips. Still looking to record his first hit here in the USPBL.
They ruled that a hit and an error. So tough play, obviously, for Keyshawn Lynch. That call probably can go either way. But the error was on the throw, obviously, in that situation because you ruled a hit. Isaac Phillips. A walk and a strikeout to his credit thus far as well. That crouched stance, 0-1 on the ground of Santiago. His first test today at the shortstop position for the first down in the third.
Making it look at short. Again, he has that repertoire with Coleman playing together previously at Cincinnati. So coming in, he knows that he's going to be seeing those grounders, seeing some action there at short, able to display his range here today and make those routine plays stay easy.
So Curiel stays home at second base here. John Hodo, the bottom of the order, trying to do some damage now. Fading fastball downstairs. Some of the best movement we've seen on the two-seam tonight. Coleman will steer back Curiel to second. Frankie Luska, your Zach Hart agency man on deck. The top of the order here tonight, as it's been for a long time for these Unicorns. That one through the shoot ball. I'm wondering where it is. Curiel again, scampering past the third base bag, toying with Tyler, saying, I dare you not to find that ball. But he did. 0-2 on Hodo.
Well, we've seen already this season Coleman's able to work his way out of some sticky situations, but this is a challenge in Hodo, and I think back, Jeremy, I feel like I've seen him put the ball in play consistently, able to work it the opposite way as well. So definitely comes to an interesting point when it comes to Coleman's pitch sequencing and what he's going to work now. Strikes.
Here's the 0-2. By Blom again, and you get a lucky bounce as that stays in front of home plate. That was the cutter, which we've seen a few times here today. It has a lot of spin, maybe a few more miles an hour less than a normal cutter would be, acting at times as a slider. Either way, 1-2 on Hodo. Infielders are in, look at that. Early on in this game, runs at a premium. And Campanella trying to prevent Curiel from scoring with one out. Wow, that was a good decision probably. Santiago throws over to first. You'll probably see them relax with 2 outs now. And the top of the order due up.
Hard hit grounder there by Hodo, but as you can see, Santiago recording the first 2 outs here. The bottom of the third against the Unicorns. Talked about it before, Guzman and Curiel typically at the top of the league when we think about the better shortstops. Interested to see if Santiago is able to put his name in for that spot.
So far, so good. Luska had a walk his first time up as Coleman looks to strand that leadoff single in an error here in the third inning. Luska looks at one inside. Really nice eye by Frankie. Took 2 close pitches at the end of his at-bat. 1-0 curveball. Back-to-back curveballs to begin this one. 1-1 on Luska now. Average spin on the curveball around 2,400 for A.J. Coleman. Right up there is some of the best in the USPBL. Jordan Carr also had a good one, who has since moved on to the Twins. And Lynch makes sure that run is stranded at third base. Nice job by the defense and by A.J. Coleman to work some contact here in the third inning. We're still scoreless.
When people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, when everybody keeps retreating but you can't seem to get enough, let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart, to your heart.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward, not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Well, several heroes being honored at the ballpark here tonight for their work in various areas. We've already seen some representatives from the medical field here today. Miguel Sereno trying to be a hero to his team here in the 4th as well. Single base runners in every inning. The last one a bit more troubling, I guess, comparatively. The first 2 were with 2 outs, a hit by pitch and a walk, and was able to retire the very next batter in both occasions. It was Bagneski who reached with 1 out in the 3rd inning, stole second base, even after Sereno had paid a decent amount of attention to him, and then was stranded at second after a few more contact outs as well. Well, it's certainly gotten more cloudy as the night has gone on.
Yeah, how long have the lights been turned on here at USPBL?
I can't feel like it's been too long. I mean, it is getting towards that time, so maybe around 8 anyway is when they start to do it, but it is noticeably more darker, especially the left side of the field. You're starting to see some cloud shift, and now Matt says it's raining just a little bit. Yeah, I see, you do see the little drizzle. We had this before the game today. It was not even really in the hour by hour, not really on the radar, just kind of popped up, but that's what can happen in weather like this. We saw that pop-up downpour the other day. I don't think this will be quite that, but.
Well, you know what, Jeremy? Considering that most of the players here are from out of state, it's just a nice way to welcome them into Michigan. You never know what temperature, what weather you're going to be facing. You just have to play through it.
Some of the fans entering, picking up a bit in intensity as well as the first pitch to McFarland slides off the end of his bat. Sereno all the way for the first out. Second out he's recorded by himself here tonight.
Yeah, Sereno making some outs himself here today. I mean, that's definitely a challenge in McFarland. You talked about it earlier, has that pull side pop, has been making more of a name for himself in the league as of late with consistency at the plate.
Well, this is just a blip if the radar is right. I mean, you can't even really see it. It says it's not even supposed to be here. It's kind of around us, but we'll see as Keyshawn Lynch ducks behind that one.
Lynch currently hitting 193 against right-handed pitchers.
It's been the better of the two for him as well. Has not yet recorded a hit versus lefties. 2-0 on Keyshawn. Fastball off the glove, 3-0 quickly here.
I'll tell you what, 2 close calls like that in an at-bat will make you nervous as a batter for sure with what you're going to see next. Sereno able to dial it back in.
And that one, the fastball at 92, the last one at least. Fastball at 88, in for strike one. Three-one, again whittled foul.
Just off the tip of Lynch's bat there.
Roy Verdejo will be next, and then Santiago if a man can reach here in the fourth. Full count, high and in at 91, 2 91-mile-an-hour fastballs around the helmet for Keyshawn as he takes his walk.
Lynch having to do some extra work there at the plate. Some dodging, but that'll send up Roy Verdejo.
6-3 ground out for him back in the second inning. And a nice little 3-game mini hitting streak, 5 hits in that stretch, including a 3-hit performance. Off the body of Curiel, rebounds way to his right. That allows Lynch to scatter to second base and making sure that Hodo gets it in quickly after that.
Aggressive base running by Lynch, but he was able to read the situation and get there on time. Verdejo getting the job done, putting the ball in play and making it tough on Curiel over at short.
They have ruled that an error. Puts runners on first and third. And now Santiago coming to the plate. He had a walk back in the second inning, stole a base, has made a few nice plays defensively to this point as well. And it's just one big cloud, dark cloud kind of hanging over the left side of the field. The right side is more clear in terms of the sky.
Well, we can see the fans aren't too scared off there. They're still hanging around. I'm not sure if it's drizzling still at this point or a light sprinkle, but.
And a number of the fans have still remained on the berm out there in right field as well. Righty on righty matchup here in a big spot for Sereno. The 1-0 on the ground to Curiel. Chance at redemption, and he does just that. You can't catch him twice. 6-4-3 erases the walk in the air here in the fourth inning. Still tied at goose eggs.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $189 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. AJ Coleman making his way back to the bump. So far, so good for Coleman. 6 up, 6 down, first and second. Looking back to the third inning, only 4 went up to the plate. Plenty of ground outs. That's something that comes to no surprise whenever you know Coleman is getting the nod. But today, so far, right now, he's going to go up against Nick DeNicola, Drew Galassi, and Noah Childress, arguably some of the most powerful bats here in this Utica Unicorns lineup. In conversations heading into today's game, Coleman said that he loves facing some of the best bats in the league. He loves the challenge, and that's something that really just showcases who Coleman is as a pitcher. He loves the competition in that sense of the individualistic approach that comes into strategy with pitch sequencing. Loves seeing his way, how he works with the off speed, the breaking balls, incorporating his fastball, trying to change the eye levels on these opposing batters. And right now, DeNicola is going to be that challenge. Newer to the USPBL, hitting 200 so far, but definitely displays that pop in his bat pull side. See there, Santiago getting some work at short, makes the play. DeNicola getting aggressive there. First pitch from Coleman. But Santiago showing that, hey, he's earned this spot here in short, shows that he can get the job done. Up next, that brings Drew Galassi 0 for 1 so far today. Talked about it before. One of the more famous players in this league, displaying his power, 8 home runs so far this season. More of a singles guy as of late, but getting on base is getting on base. First pitch from Coleman outside.
And we kind of talked about it earlier as well. You're going to see the power show up at some point. I mean, Jim Essian said it himself. On the ground to the shortstop, Santiago. The second out here in the fourth, but you have confidence that you will see that again at some point.
Oh, for sure, and Glossie's been going through that change where he was getting a little overly aggressive, probably came with the confidence of how well he was doing with that extra base power. So more of a reason to dial it back and just getting the ball in play. Singles get the job done. Don't need that home run swing every time.
First pitch to Childress in there for strike one. Is that the cutter again? It was on the first pitch. And he would like to mix that in a decent amount, he said, just so they don't, favor the fastball. Came into play today at 66% fastball. One is away. Now it's almost like if he does continue to throw it, you can't really trust those percentages because they're going to be way off. Until he gets a considerable amount of cutters in there. Today a case in 0.8%. And it's true considering his whole body of work. Fly ball to Bagneski. That for the third out here in the fourth inning. And boy, Coleman is rolling here in this one. Is only allowed a hit and a walk to this point. 0-0 we remain.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal getter or dream chaser, an empty nester or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're going to be like, it's not possible. Well, yes it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Another one of your Balfour property restoration heroes of the game, honored in between innings here tonight. Miguel Sereno back out there for the 5th inning of work. He got a really big 6-4-3 double play. Curiel, Hodo, Pitchman look very routine for all three of those infielders, and that was after Curiel had one hit really hard at him and kind of booted it behind the second base bag, which you don't see very often. But it's one thing to be scared of the ball, and that's one thing that you're taught at a very early age not to be, because maybe it's cliche, but the ball finds you, I guess.
No, of course. If you're pulling your head off of it as it's coming your way, you're more likely to get hit rather than watching it come into your glove. And in that instance, for that 6-4-3 play, started by Curiel there, you could see as it came, it hopped into his glove. He just took a little bit of a beat to make sure he had it in there before he continued with the game.
But the point of that is, obviously, Curiel not scared of the ball.
Yes, very not scared.
First pitch to Nafi Mercedes, a fastball in for strike one.
You have to be pretty fearless to want to play shortstop in the majors, I'll tell you that. Some high velos coming there.
We see a little bit of stirring action in the Unicorns' pen. I believe that might be Heath Olive stretching out, the newcomer. We did not get a number pregame for him. It's 13, and there's no other Unicorns pitchers with that number, so it has to be Olive. He's that new. 1-1 on Mercedes.
We saw Sereno flash a bit of a smile there. He's been flirting with hitting a couple of batters, has already done so against LeBoy.
Sneaks inside, 2-1.
And that's been an issue of not necessarily being able to locate his slider. 3 almost hitting, especially with Lynch, we saw earlier, and most off the side of the plate.
Did that hit his bat? And it was in and out of the catcher's glove, according to P.J. Gradowski there. Oh, he hit it out of the catcher's glove. Matt Snyder making me a bit less confused as that one is back to the screen. I think that's what PJ said too. I just couldn't process it that quickly. I'm sorry. Mercedes, Blom, Bagneski. Your Zankart agency, 3 men, 2 up here in the 5th. Shuttered foul. Campanella gets a chance. Oh, no. Going to be an E-C there, E-coach. Through his arms. Mercedes with a pop-up to end the second inning. That went to Pinchman over at first. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Fastball tailing away at 91 miles an hour.
Sereno able to get the job done with a full count, was really trying to pound Mercedes inside throughout the at-bat, and hey, was able for strike 3.
That's his first strikeout of the game. He has walked 2 and hit 1 to this point. Hit 2. Or walked 2 and hit 1. Fly ball to left center field. Galassi stretching out. Sereno points to and says, yes, sir.
Galassi getting it done, not only at the plate, but also in the outfield, stretching out there for that amazing grab. Man, definitely one of the players you love to watch here in the league.
And that's something you kind of maybe forget about just on the surface. His hitting, obviously great quality, but his defense, he's flashed the leather a few times, playing center field and right field mainly in the USPBL thus far. We've seen some nice plays over the last couple days. Pierce Banks had a ball hit right back at him. It hit him in the leg. He was able to make the play in the end. Curiel stretching out. Dug that one in the ground, too deep in the hole in the end. That should be ruled as an infield single for Connor Bagneski. And the pesky Bagneski gets on with 2 outs in the 5th.
Oh, I love that. Pesky Bagneski, but what a stop by Curiel. You can see there it definitely is hard to throw on target when you're down in that position, but smart move to get down to the knees to make sure the ball doesn't go in the outfield, because with that speed that we've seen Bagneski display, that easily could have been turned into a double.
Well, sun trying to make its way back to the field as it starts to set at Jimmy John's Field. That big cloud still preventing it from the middle, though. Phillips in a little bit of that light as he makes the catch for the 3rd out in the 5th inning. An infield single, that's it, the 2nd of the game for Connor Bagneski here tonight.
New flooring from the Carpet Guys is as easy as 1, 2, free. 1, just call the Carpet Guys for fast, free, and home shopping. 2, get massive warehouse direct savings. And 3, I mean free, as in 4 years of interest-free financing. That's 1, 2, free, but only for a limited time. So be wise and call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS or visit carpetguys.com today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
When people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, when everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough, let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart, to your heart.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
A.J. Coleman with 2 solid outings in a row here, trying to finish off this one. This is kind of how it looked. It was through 3 innings, and the 4th was where the Mammoths opened it up a bit, but he got through the 4th 1, 2, 3 through a good part of the order, 2, 3, 4. He'll face 5, 6, 7 in the 5th. John Pitchman, Colby Johnson, Donovan Curiel.
Coleman is really setting an example that you don't have to be a strikeout pitcher to get the job done, inducing those ground balls, that weak contact, getting his defense to come in behind him to get the outs. It takes the relief off of him if he's not able to have to keep pitching as well. So definitely doing well today during this outing.
Only 40 pitches deep into the contest here tonight through 4 innings. That's really the perfect scenario for a pitcher. Not often do you see guys in this day and age get to that as it's fouled off. And Coleman has had length really all year. I mean, he had a 79 pitch performance in his opening day start all the way back in May, but his most we've seen thus far was 89. That was back in June. Had 87 last Thursday. So pitch count will not be an issue. It's just a matter of how many arms that Campanella wants to get in, and I think he could get by with getting an inning out of Donovan and an inning out of Stanton. So we may be looking at 7 or beyond if he continues to do what he's done so far. He has given up a hit. It was a hit and an error back in the 3rd inning.
Only 1 walk so far this game.
Curveball by him. That curveball hung up a little bit, but Pitchman not expecting it. That's the 2nd at bat that he's had trouble with the curve. 2 strikeouts for Pitchman so far. Only 2 for Coleman so far. Go ahead.
Sorry, Jeremy. No, Pitchman is definitely always a threat whenever he steps into the box, so that really speaks volumes to Coleman to be able to keep him off balance so far during this game. 2nd and 5th inning.
Colby Johnson lined out to center field his first time up. Sounded like a broken bat. Fades out of the glove of Mercedes. Little jump throw for the 2nd out here in the 5th.
And you know, Jeremy, when I used to play infield in high school, sometimes routine ground ball, those throws weren't always straight. For him to just casually stand up and make the throw in that situation, I mean, he's doing a great job of manning the hot corner.
Did you hear about that after you didn't have a straight throw? In the dugout after you got back?
We don't need to go back to those days. I don't even know why I brought it up. High school softball not really comparable to professional baseball.
First pitch to Curiel, bounces. He was the man that reached in a single and an error to start the 3rd. Reached 3rd base in the end after a couple errant plays, but was stranded right at 3rd. 6-3, 6-3, 4-3. All ground balls in the middle of the infield for AJ. Hasn't gotten behind a lot of hitters here today, and certainly that's led to his success.
You know, he's quickly showing that he and Guzman reflect each other in multiple ways, not only their prowess whenever they're at short, but also being able to produce from any spot in the lineup.
Golfed into the glove of Nafi Mercedes. Rising up once again. And how about A.J. Coleman? 7 straight outs going back to the 3rd inning on a roll.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities.
Where good neighbors do great things.
Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal getter or dream chaser, an empty nester or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Heath Olive ready to make his USPBL debut here today. Most recently a stop at a solid NAI school, Florida Southeastern. In 2021, spent some time at Faulkner in 2019 and 2020 as well. 5.40 ERA through 3 appearances at Southeastern. If you're not familiar, over the last few years, they've been the team that has faced off against the Tigers in spring training to begin the year. So kind of shows what level they are at. So enthused to see what he can do here today.
Yeah, always a bit of an adjustment coming in to play professional ball here in the USPBL, getting used to the schedule, how often you're facing the same batters, but excited to see how Olive handles the challenge coming in during August.
A 4-seam, a slider, a splitter, and a changeup for Heath. So another guy that throws a splitter. We saw our new pitcher out of the University of Michigan, Joe Pace, last night also throw a splitter. Faced just 2 batters, allowed an RBI hit to Trent Bauer. That was not his earned run. It was Pierce, who was in before him, and then struck out Trevor McKinley on a low 90s fastball.
Not too many splitters in this league. That was something that Jackson Hicks displayed very well before heading off to the Twins organization.
Yep. Saw it from Dugan Darnell last year as well, who has since moved on. It's an interesting pitch. It seems to be making a bit more of a comeback than what we've seen lately. Casey Mize, of course, with the Tigers, is that in his arsenal as well. The wind has picked up, moving at its best clip to left center field currently. Maybe conducive to some of the weather we've seen lately. We saw some drizzles, which allowed some fans to scoot to the concourse. And now, as I say it, it's slowed down.
You can only do so much here in Michigan, Jeremy.
I promise you it was moving faster than that. This one passed Christian LeBoy. He was hit by a pitch in the first. See, those are a little bit more indicative of what they are. The Utica Unicorns championship banner there out in left center field, just to the right of the Chevrolet Pavilion out there. The 1-1. Slider by him, 1-2.
The boy swinging out of his shoes a bit there.
Heath reading the 1-2. Another slider, jack to left, hugging the foul pole. That is going to go foul. Wow, I thought that had a chance to even sneak out of here as well. A hot shot down the left field line that just made its way foul. I mean, 5 more feet, it probably is a home run.
I mean, LeBoy has the ability to send the ball to all fields with power, but we've really seen a lot of pop in that pull side, and he's been worked inside a lot for most of his at-bats here today. So, like you said, Jeremy, I was expecting that to go out as well. It had a shot, or at least fall in fair.
Isaac Phillips had a lot of ground to cover as well for a ball that was hit on a line. He did a decent job at getting close to it, looking at our YouTube monitor on the replay. The 1-2, fastball at 94, high and away the best fastball we've seen from anyone so far tonight. Olive takes over for Sereno, who went 5. Maybe not his sharpest stuff for sure tonight, but he was able to limit the damage. No runs scored. Stranded some critical runners on second and third. There's 94 again, right by LeBoy for the first down here in the 6th.
Definitely a different story for Sereno for sure coming out of that outing. Pitch sequencing seemed to be a bit better today, but locating that slider definitely a bit of an issue.
And now Travis McFarland looking to continue what's been a nice stretch for him. 0 for 2 tonight. The first strikeout victim for Sereno in the first. He had 2 at the end of the night. Check swing on the slider that finds its way in the zone somehow for the second out. And it's got some wicked bite on it. I mean, it's not showing up in the movement necessarily, but his spin was nearly 3,000 on that slider, which I know we have not seen that on a slider. I'm not sure we've seen it on a curveball either in this league. I mean, his fastball's at like 2,600 as well, at 94 miles an hour.
I mean, McFarland looked pretty surprised there when his ball got in contact with it. It just worked him inside.
For a fastball for a guy that doesn't move in this league, probably around 1,900 is right where fastballs are. For good movement, 2,200. Well, that was quite the inning from Heath Olive, and we'd love to see more of him going forward as well. The 1-2-3 inning, strikeout, ground out, ground out. Back with more after this here on the USPBL Network.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Stop me now. Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time. A shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing cloud passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go. There's no stopping me. No stopping.
Jeremy and Jenna back with you here from the ballpark. As that one muscled into left center field, it's going to knock down for a base hit in front of Verdejo. Isaac Phillips with his third hit in the USPBL uniform. He's now 3 for 10. That brings up John Hodo now.
That'll make it the second hit on the day off of Coleman here for the Unicorns lineup. We talked about it previously during Hodo's last at-bat, 0 for 1 during this game, but really have seen consistency for him putting the ball in play in some previous games, so this could be a key situation to capitalize on that.
Phillips tested right away by A.J. Coleman. A.J. with 7 straight outs recorded, only one of those via the strikeout. That hasn't really been his game tonight, just 2 of them. High chop to third. Mercedes has been busy, fires a decent shot to Lynch, but scooping his way in is Isaac Phillips, and now back-to-back base runners reach here in the 5th.
Nice effort by Mercedes. He's been pretty busy today here on the hot corner.
Now back to the top of the order for Frankie Luska.
Luska so far drawing a walk today, grounding out to second in the 3rd.
Yeah, immediately after that walk, Coleman on the first pitch was able to get a 5-4-3 double play off the bat of Nick DeNicola. that and the leadoff single plus the error in the third inning, which had Curiel on second base and eventually on third with one out, has been the only worrisome moments for A.J. Coleman besides this right here. 1-0, fastball away, 2-0 on Luska now.
Tried to work back-to-back curves in the third when he faced Luska.
Now the 2-0. Right back at Coleman. He's going to turn 2, maybe 3. Yes! A triple play. What a dandy. And all Coleman can do is smile. He puts the 3 fingers up. My goodness. 0-0, we stay in the 6th inning.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the 9th and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the 9th, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
Whenever my family wants to enjoy the great outdoors, we pack up my Chevy Blazer and go camping in style. It looks great, and with the cargo management system, we can bring all the comforts of home away from home. Plus, with available 4G LTE Wi-Fi, the kids can still stay connected with friends. Thanks to my Blazer, roughing it isn't rough at all.
Lease a 2021 Blazer 2LT for just $219 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Well, you could win $250 plus 4 front row tickets to the championship game in September. Text Chevy Detroit right now to 555-888. Again, Chevy Detroit to 555-888. Visit ChevyDetroit.com/USPBL for all the official rules on that contest. Over to Jason Ross Jr. now. Jason?
Well, Jeremy, quite the way to wrap up that last inning. The Beavers manager, Ed Campanella, knew he had to get started going today, and A.J. Coleman on the flip side of that equation. Miguel Sereno was the other side of what was a very tasty pitching matchup entering today. Both players have emerged as leaders on their respective sides. You notice every now and then, Jeremy, that both, when they aren't pitching, will kind of emerge out of the dugout and play the role of pitching coach or manager, if you will, and be the one consoling a pitcher who might be in a high leverage situation, struggling, whatever it may be. I spoke to both pitchers about that earlier today. Coleman said he doesn't go out there and talk specifics. It's more about just helping guys relax and then give that pitcher a chance to take a deep breath and embrace the next pitch. Now, Sereno said he loves to go out and just crack a joke, and it's nothing baseball related, but just let a guy kind of soothe back into a nice mentality. And right now, Coleman, on the flip side of that, appears to be in a nice cruising mentality here.
Certainly been fun to watch here today. And a guy that certainly could be of interest to affiliate teams going forward. So that went 1-4-3 on the triple play.
I just wrote triple play in my book.
That might be the only time you get to do that, no matter where you are. It's quite the feat.
Sebastian Selway now on the mound for the Unicorns.
Yeah, Selway, another fairly newcomer to this league, has pitched an inning and 2/3 thus far, has not given up a run. Those are 2 appearances for Selway. 2/3 of an inning versus the Mammoths last week. And a couple days before that, an inning versus the Hoppers. Just 1 hit given up. No walks and a strikeout. He's been efficient with his pitches in both fashions. Now the 1-2 to Verdejo. Had him out in front. 1 up and 1 down. Good job as well by Heath Olive in his 1 inning of work in the 6th inning. 1, 2, 3. Quietly 5 straight recorded between Sereno, Olive, and now Selway.
Yeah, for both of these newcomers here for the Unicorns, first time facing the Beavers lineup. Previous appearances here for Selway came from the Hoppers and Mammoths.
Has thrown his curveball the most, and again, it's a very small sample size at this point, as there's a fastball golfed to John Hodo, but he came in throwing 60% curveballs thus far, 23% cutter, 17% fastball. Nafy Mercedes is 0 for 2 so far here tonight. There's not a lot of good lines from anyone here tonight on either side. Just 4 combined hits, 2 combined errors, and no combined runs. Still nobody throwing in the Beavers' pen, so you'd think Coleman gets the 7th inning.
Well, Mercedes has definitely been busy on the hot corner, perversely, for the Beavers.
Only 53 pitches through 6 tonight for AJ. So conceivably he could go 9 today, and the Beavers do play twice more this week. So we'll see what Ed Campanella wants to do. They play again tomorrow, which is a scheduled 9-inning contest, as long as it fits within the 2.5-hour time limit, which may weigh into Campanella's decision, obviously, because you play 2 6s on a Saturday and 7 innings scheduled on Sundays. Just trying to move his pieces around and making sure that guys get their work. So they'll play tonight, Thursday, tomorrow, Friday, and on Sunday as well at 105 versus the Diamond Hoppers. And all 3 of those guys sure starters. The Unicorns have been doing bullpen days at times. How about the inning for Selway? Him and Olive, 3 up and 3 down in innings 6 and 7. It's that kind of day. And it's time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, brought to you by Genesis Credit Union here today. Coming on us quick here at 8:45 Eastern Time. In 3, 2, 1, take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. 0-0 as we head to the home half of the 7th. AJ Coleman is back out there. Exciting stuff.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
There's a look pregame At some of the vehicles that were parked on the field here today, the fans got a chance to peek inside. A new age ambulance and the old age ambulance as well. Cool stuff. A.J. Coleman out there for his 7th inning of work. Not going to say the triple play is the reason why he's still out there, because his pitch count is still so much in order.
Yeah, 53 so far, but I mean, you have to ride that high after a triple play, Jeremy. I mean,
sure do.
Whew.
If you missed it, it was right back at Coleman. He stuck the glove out right away, turned around and threw it to the covering man at second, Lynch, who back-picked Phillips at that point, and then over to the first baseman McFarland, who got Hodo ranging off the bag.
We've talked about having some new faces here in the league. This is Dave Nicola's first time playing the Beavers here today, 0 for 2 against Coleman.
He hit into a double play in the first, also got out in the fourth. Slicing cutter to the outside part of the plate, 1-2 on DeNicola now. In fact, the least pitches, now we're looking at that, the least pitches that Coleman has thrown, 76. Back in June, that was a 5-inning outing where he gave up an unearned run, that's it. Struck out 5 and didn't walk a batter. Floating into the arms of Bagneski. And there's still nobody warming up, Jenna, in the bullpen.
Man, Jeremy, I keep cutting you off today, but Bagneski making it look easy over in center, drifting over to right center there for the out.
Speaking of no walks, he's just walked 1 here tonight. That was Frankie Luska, the first batter he faced in this game. Beavers the home team tonight. It's kind of overshadowing what these two relievers have done in back-to-back innings for Jim Essien. 2 1-2-3s. 3 strikeouts combined between Olive and Selway in the 6th and 7th. And that could be an interesting back-end punch for the Unicorns going forward. They've always had some pretty good starting pitching this year. They've struggled at times in the back end of the bullpen. Drew Colossi looking for his first home run in 12 games. That was back on June the 6th. Noah Childress would be next. It's been a while since we've seen Childress pop one out as well, but he has that potential as well. 4 bombs this year. Galassi with 8, and a good eye as Coleman was hoping to bury that 88-mile-an-hour fastball in for strike 3. And sometimes when you have a pitcher do this well and throw so few pitches, you think about the defenders and how much action are they getting, but it's been a lot of credit to them tonight as well. Majority of his outs have come via the contact. He's turned a double play and a triple play so far this night, 1-4-3. Here's the 1-2. Fastball away.
And that's something that Jason mentioned earlier, that Coleman is very appreciative of the defense behind him. He knows the work that they put in to get these outs.
Swing and a miss. The fastball tailing outside. 2 up and 2 down here in the 7th. And the fact that there were 2 runners on in the 6th was fairly significant as well, because Coleman had retired 7 straight, and that was the only time in this game that he had allowed back-to-back base runners, or 2 base runners at all in a single inning. A lot of walk, that's it in the first, and then a single and an error in the third, which Curiel ended up on third base, but he responded to that with 2 outs directly after it. The 1-0. There's the cutter. That one playing up a bit. Or maybe the fastball in that scenario. That cutter-like movement on it, though. 2-0 on Childress. His cutter so far has ranged around 80 to 82. Childress ahead, digs the fastball in at 87 for strike one. John Pitchman is on deck. The only 2 strikeouts for Coleman tonight. The 2-1. Snapping curveball. Childress has laid off some tough pitches, though. 3-1.
Gotta love that NAIA representation, right, Jeremy?
Yep, for sure. And just high. He earned that walk right there.
Yeah, Coleman definitely flirting with the strike zone there. Plate discipline is very relevant when we look at Noah Childress, one of the bats that Coleman was very much looking forward to facing here today for this game.
It's a very casual bullpen right now. There they are.
Well, 2 outs, runners on. That's going to be, runner on, setting up Kevin Lambert here in place of Pitchman.
Pitchman struck out in the 2nd and in the 5th. One in the 2nd was for the 2nd out, the one in the 5th for the 1st. Childress leaning off. This one a number fair. Mercedes has to hurry as Pitchman runs fairly well for a big guy out there. 5-3 ends the threat here in the 7th. And again, Coleman able to strand another base runner. What else is new?
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Jack Ferguson making this a true baton passing here in the late innings for Jim Essien. The 6th, he brought in Olive. The 7th, he brought in Selway. And the 8th goes to Ferguson, who's been good in these type of scenarios. Was also anticipating maybe giving Ryan Ray another inning here tonight. Not sure if that will stay the same. Brandon Krenrich could also be available for one. He will start later on this week, but he's kind of been a 2-inning guy anyway, so he could conceivably pitch one here tonight as long as it's not too long and give Essien 1 to 2 on Saturday as well.
Ferguson comes in with an ERA of 1.22, working 14 2/3 innings so far this season. What you can see from Ferguson's arsenal is going to be heavy utilization of his 2-seam fastball, typically throwing it just under 64% of the time. We'll throw in that slider and sprinkle in the changeup just over 8% of the time.
And speaking of Krenrich, he is warming up as we speak, so he probably will get the 9th. I guess to a certain extent, though, Jim has to be careful here because it's still 0-0. And even if this game surpasses the time limit, which we're not even, I guess, totally to that point of talking about it, because this game has moved so quickly in a pitcher's duel type fashion, but he might want to give Ferguson 2, especially if this game is still tied. And he's capable of doing that. He's pitched a max 3 innings this year, 48. That was a high leverage game as well for Jack back on the 17th for this very Beavers squad. Gave up 1 earned run, but nearly every pitch was high leverage because all those innings were in extra innings, and you have the international tie-breaking runner starting at second base. Nice snare by pitchman, or Childress actually, who's moved over there.
That makes Blum 0 for 3 on the day so far, and he's someone who's been coming in consistently recording a hit in each of his last 5 games, so just couldn't find the gap there, because sometimes having those grounders, if they can get through the hole, it gets the job done.
So Childress to first, and Lambert, the newcomer, over to third base. That's one of his primary positions, third and short. Breaking ball in for strike 1 on Bagneski here.
Bagneski 2 for 3 on the day. 2 singles, having those hard line drives throughout the day, hard line out. First at bat, straight back to Sereno.
And not often you're able to get him 0-2 like Ferguson is able to do here. Obviously, this is a tough matchup being a left-hander with Ferguson coming from the side. Jack has really maintained lefties this year. A 111 clip on the mound. Trying to pound him inside with the fastball there, but Bagneski got a piece.
Looked like it stung a bit. Could see Bagneski shaking his hand a little bit.
Here's the 0-2. Whittled foul. 77 degrees here in Utica, Michigan currently. High 80s all throughout the day. It's not going to get any cooler going forward. 88 tomorrow, 83 Saturday, 89 on Sunday. That's a nice slider. Probably looks like it starts right at his hands and then bends outward on its way to the plate. 2 up and 2 down. And to this point, every reliever that has come in has yet to give up a base runner thus far and has struck out 4 batters.
Unicorns bullpen is certainly coming in hot today here at Jimmy John's Field. And that's pretty rare there, striking out Bagneski.
Ron Williams Jr. today 0 for 3. They bring in Collier Rutledge now. Rutledge, Salaya, and Shoemaker available on the bench today for Ed Campanella.
Now, Rutledge is someone who definitely generates power in their swing, and he's had some hard outs so far this season. If he can find a gap, he can do some damage.
The 1-0. Again, shifted foul, decent swing by Rutledge there, coming off cold off the bench here. First pitch tonight was at 7:12 Eastern time. So 9:12 will mark the 2-hour mark here, but time limit might not be a factor here tonight. It's looking like we could possibly head to some extras here unless we see some offense.
Rutledge is typically the season designated hitter here for this Beavers lineup.
Slider low. Sereno starting this game, going 5 innings. A bit wild, but despite that, did not give up a run. Walked 2 batters, hit a batter, allowed an error to reach, and just 2 singles here today. Got himself a double play turned as well. And Rutledge works himself all the way back to get a walk. something that Ferguson hasn't done hardly at all. Just his 4th walk of the year compared to 14 strikeouts. And it looks like Essien wants to go to Krenrich here with the right-handed power hitter coming up. Probably a decent move in terms of the numbers, as Ferguson gives up a .316 average to righties and just a .111 average to lefties, as we talked about. And with the guy who could make it 2-0 in a hurry, trying to bring a bit more fire to the mound with Brandon Krenrich. We'll check his numbers when we get back.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $189 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Brandon Krenrich out here in a big situation, runner on first base. Christian LeBoy due up. LeBoy 0 for 2 so far today. A strikeout, a ground out. He was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat in the first. So we'll see what Krenrich can do. This will likely be an inning max in total. Obviously, if he gets the batter out, it could only be a batter. But I'd venture to say if this game remained tied in the 9th, he might come out for at least a couple more batters. He is in line to start on Saturday.
LeBoy 0 for 3 on the day, hitting .218 against right-handers, and we talked about it before, riding in a 4-game hitless streak today here into Jimmy John's.
There is still no action in the Beavers pen, so we will see an 8th by Coleman here tonight. We might just see a complete game. But to what extent? I mean, he could go into extra innings conceivably if he keeps doing what he's doing, but at what point you look to get more arms in, I guess, at that venture as LeBoy swings and misses at the 91-mile-an-hour fastball. So you're timing up Ferguson on deck, as hitters often do at 85, 86, and now it runs up at 91. I'm sure you were watching him as he warmed up, but still a big difference. 0-1, 92, dips inside for strike 2.
Looking at Krenrich's arsenal, typically relying on that slider over 44% of the time, incorporates that 4-seam and 2-seam. For most of the other percentages. Math is hard, Jeremy.
Sure is. 0-2 swing and a miss. The velocity was easy for Krenrich in that inning. 91, 92, and 94. Dust off LeBoy for his second K of the night. Well, when it's time for baseball, it's time for Bell's. We love enjoying a USPBL game with an Oberon, Two-Hearted Ale, official or no yeah. Here's to a great season. Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan. Please drink responsibly. A.J. Coleman out for the 8th inning. He's allowed 3 hits and 2 walks, but that's it. And only 1 inning where he's had multiple base runners, and you know what happened then if you were watching. 1-4-3 triple play. A liner right back to Coleman. He fed it to Lynch at second base, back picking Phillips, and over to the first baseman McFarland to catch Hodo too far off the bag.
For those of you who may be tuning in for the first time here to the USPBL, this is a perfect snapshot of what Coleman is capable of doing here today, and he's putting everything on display. As you mentioned before, Jeremy, only 3 hits, 2 walks, and that sparkling triple play that we saw in the 6th.
Six, 7, 8 due up. 6 through 9 today have reached a combined 3 times, which is significant because that's 3 out of 5 in his base runners. Hardy swing at the cutter as that one lifts foul. 0-2. Donovan Curiel, Isaac Phillips, your Zach Hart agency, 2 men, 2 up after Colby Johnson here. The 0-2 straightens him up.
Johnson hitting .234 heading into today's game, but hasn't been with the USPBL too long and really displays that when he gets the barrel on the ball, he can send it.
Watches that one go off the glove of Blom.
Still remember when we watched that one go off of Blom's forehead earlier in the season.
Can't forget it. It's etched into our memory. 2-2 hits the corner for strike 3. Strikeout number 4 on the night for A.J. Coleman.
Coleman accomplishing what he set out to do, attacking the strike zone, working ahead in the count. Really just keeping batters off balance with his pitch mix.
First pitch to Curiel, roped, fair ball. Ooh, ruled foul down the third baseline. That looked fair. Curiel jogging his way back here. Try to get a second look at it on our YouTube monitor here.
Yeah, because to me it looked like it just fell foul, but I don't know. The replay didn't really help.
Here's the 0-1. Cutter away. 1-1 on Curiel. The even pitch now. Golfed his way into left. And Verdejo. Not a lot to lose in that scenario as long as he blocks it, which he did. And Curiel able to scamper back to first base with Ryan Ray playing base coach in that scenario.
Well, I mean, you know that you have backup in Bagneski who's able to cover a lot of ground when he patrols center, but could have been a little risky. Gets his glove on it just to knock it down, like you said, Jeremy.
So 77 pitches now for A.J. Coleman. Had a bit of a longer 7th inning. 2-2 count and a 3-1 walk to Childress before the ground out by Kevin Lambert to end the threat. So maybe this is his last inning as we see a bit more action now in the Beavers pen. There's a couple arms throwing. I believe it's Stanton and Donovan. A lefty and a righty. One L in for strike one.
Phillips, one of the Unicorns to find success previous today against Coleman, recording one single. That happened in the 6th.
0-1 away, 2-1 on Phillips now. John Hoda would be next in the top of the order. Frankie Luska here. The 0-1. Punch foul, the fastball. Has lost a tad bit of velocity on it, but not too much. 86 on that one. Short lead for Curiel over at first, and Coleman, who's kept a good eye on base runners here tonight, will steer him back. Oh. It's not a huge lead, and that's about as close as you can get if you're AJ without picking him off. Right on his backside as he's diving back.
Coleman's keeping a close eye on him, kind of like Serino and Bagneski earlier today. You know you have speed on first, you're going to be glancing over.
He jukes. Coleman doesn't bite, and there's a nice curveball to get Isaac Phillips in the 8th. His second strikeout of the inning, the 5th of the night. And John Hoda, the last kicking chance here in the bottom of the 8th.
Hoda 1 for 2 on the day, recording a single earlier against Coleman. 1 of 4 hits today here.
Nice pickup by Blom. Now trying to snap Curiel over at first. He can't get that white jersey any dirtier, can he?
I was going to say that's going to be some tough grunt work to get those stains out.
There's all the zeros on the board. Just 6 combined hits, 2 combined errors. Same pitch, same play. No throw. Over to first at least.
Nice snag by Blom there behind the dish.
Big pitch for Coleman. Doesn't want to fall too well behind the bottom of the order here. 3-0, certainly with a guy that's going to be selective coming up next as well, and Frankie Luska. Fastball in for strike one.
Coleman able to dial it back in with the fastball. We talked about it before. One of his goals today was to get ahead in the count. Not where he wants to be here against Toto, but has the ability to work out of it.
Runner moving, shifted foul. So Jim Essien trying to make something happen with Curiel over at first. He's like, if you're going to throw over that many times, I'm at least going to try to steal a base. McFarland now playing behind him with a full count, as he will move on the pitch no matter what now. The 3-2. Curveball in there for strike 3. It's a dandy as he strikes out the side in the 8th, his 6th K tonight. Can his offense get him some runs in the top half of the 9th? When we get back, we'll see.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
Welcome back, everyone, to Jimmy John's Field. Jeremy Idle alongside Jenna Rose and Jason Ross Jr. to bring the call here tonight. Brandon Krenrich out for his first full inning of work in the 9th. He faced one batter in relief of Jack Ferguson, who faced 3 batters. He walked Ron Williams Jr. and check that, Collier Rutledge, who pinch hit for Ron in that spot. And then immediately struck out Christian LeBoy. McFarland, Lynch, and Roy Verdejo, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up against Brandon Krenrich. He has given up 6 home runs this year, and McFarland is a candidate for a bomb. Hasn't hit one in a while, has 4 on the year, 6 doubles as well.
Even just looking at McFarland's stature, you can see that he has the ability to generate that power. But on another note, he has been finding some consistency so far at the plate in games previous heading into today.
Well, the win stat means less and less these days, and probably even lesser in a league like this when, you know, sometimes you won't even get the amount of innings you need for a quality start, just based off what we're looking to do here in terms of getting guys in. But regardless, A.J. Coleman deserves a win here tonight. He's been really good. Not to say the relievers haven't been good either for the Unicorns tonight. Matt Snyder, fine analytics intern, chiming us in and says that McFarland has homered twice off Brandon Krenrich so far this year. 3 of those 4 home runs have been on breaking balls. Strap yourself in. The 0-1, swing and a miss. The fastball at 91. Krenrich way ahead. McFarland backing out of the box and trying to regroup here.
McFarland recorded strikeout 17 on a fastball earlier in the first inning against Sereno.
And just 1 of 2 Ks tonight for Miguel. Bullpen has doubled that total. 0-2. Another hearty fastball as Travis fouls it away. 5 strikeouts for the bullpen, so 7 in total for this pitching staff tonight. Now the 0-2. Oh, you can see the knees buckling of McFarland, also thinking about swinging, but held back. Hardy slider from Brandon Krenrich. A pitch he has half of his strikeouts on. The 1-2, just missing the fastball. It's been a good fastball here tonight for Brandon. Above his average just slightly. That last one at 92. We've seen as much as 93. So far this season is high 94. Infielders on their toes. The 1-2 popped him up foul.
We definitely have seen some high velocity here from the Unicorns' arms, Jeremy, so far today.
Yeah, Selway had some good stuff. Olive had some good stuff. Sereno certainly lighting it up as well to the start. Ferguson, that's just not his game. Throwing from the submarine angle at 85 to 87, but regardless. The 1-2. Another slider, good take. He knew it right away. Righty on righty matchup. Righties are actually favored against Krenrich, though. They hit nearly 300. The 2-2, whittled foul. Was that the change? No, the slider, just a bit tighter that time.
McFarland just barely staying alive here against Krenrich.
Quite the AB. Keyshawn Lynch on deck. Roy Verdejo after that if they need it. Could win it right here in the ninth. 2-2 low. Even if McFarland doesn't get a hit here, it certainly sets his fellow line mates up pretty good.
You have some McFarland fans right in front of the booth. Hearing a few cheers here and there.
Not much wind to left center. The 3-2. Oh, is that close? Brandon Krenrich wanted it, but it's for ball 4.
McFarland knew it, confident, strutting over to first base there. First time he's been on today.
4th walk in total for Unicorns pitching tonight. And it looks like they're going to pinch run for Travis over at first. Austin Shoemaker getting an appearance in this game.
Keyshawn Lynch also drawing a walk today against the Unicorns.
And you'd think Shoemaker would just stay in defensively if they need him to as well. He's played some first base in his USPBL career. Not as much this year compared to last, but a game or two. It always gives you that versatility, but that's not a guy you want to take out of the game anyway. And there's not a candidate really that is a sure bet for first base because he's your extra catcher at this point. Short lead for Shoemaker over at first. His run means a lot, obviously, in a scoreless game in the top of the ninth. Last thing you want to do is get picked off. Debbie Meyer-Masaryk says, "Score, Beavers, score," on Facebook. Yeah, it's been that kind of day, hasn't it? Hanging on the edge for runs here today. That one fouled off.
Krenrich sending that in for 92 miles per hour.
Oh, 1 on Keyshawn Lynch. High. Lynch playing second base here today. Jason mentioned it earlier in one of his reports. It feels like a long time ago, but Ed Campanella kind of moving him back to his primary position of second base here today. Santiago starting at short. The 1-1 line drive to the gap in left, but Phillips is right there.
Nice poke by Lynch, one of the harder hits we've seen here today at Jimmy John's. It's a tall task to go up against this Unicorns bullpen, Jeremy. They've been doing their due diligence here today.
Just 2 base runners. They had retired how many in a row here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Between Selway, Ferguson, and Olive. Starting in the 6th. Going all the way to the 3rd batter and 2nd out of the 8th when Ron Williams walked, and then obviously McFarland walked to begin this 9th.
Roy Verdejo could be the man for the job. I believe he had one of the more recent home runs here for the Beavers in games past.
Can of corn here as Galassi and everybody else converging. Curiel and Phillips around the baseball. And Galassi can smile because that catch was made. Santiago certainly had some power at Cincinnati this year. 17 doubles, 7 home runs. That would be a nice welcome to the USPBL sticker if you could win it here in the 9th. Let's see. Fan shouts home run below us. Could it be? Shoemaker on his way to second base. The throw close, but not in time. The 3rd of the game for the Beavers tonight. Santiago has one. Bagneski had one in the 3rd. And now Austin Shoemaker sends himself in scoring position as the winning run, or the go-ahead run, I should say, here in the 9th. Here's the 0-1 to Santiago. Fastball slices in for strike 2.
Santiago working a 9-pitch walk earlier today.
Donovan continues to warm for the Beavers in the pen. Got to think that he would probably come in for A.J. Coleman. The guy that you can stretch out a bit more if you'd like. Certainly a starter to begin the year. A starter in college this year at Indiana Tech as well. Big pitch, the 0-2. Slider away. Back on the air tomorrow on the USPBL Network for Friday Night Fireworks as well. It's the Beavers and the Hoppers. Beavers with a back-to-back. Here's the 1-2 now. Slider on the ground. Picked nicely by Lambert over to first. What a play. Welcome to the USPBL Lamberts on that one as well here in the 9th. We're still scoreless. The Unicorns with the top of the order trying to walk it off when we get back.
Only at your Chevrolet certified service dealer do you get tires engineered specifically for your vehicle and a price match guarantee. With our tire price match guarantee, if you find a better price within 30 days of purchase, we'll refund the difference. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Attention, Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys.
When people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, when everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. My love, open the door. My love, open the door. My love, open the door to your heart.
Donovan on the mound to face the top of the order, Frankie Luska, Nick DeNicola, and Drew Galassi, your Zachart agency. 3 men due up. And Coleman lifted out of the game, but not for performance in this one. 87 pitches, and Jason Ross pointed out that matches his last start. Obviously, it's the difference of 4 and change, and here tonight he goes 8. His best starts of the year here tonight.
Coleman only allowing 4 hits, 2 walks, and striking out 6. I believe only one of those looking, but as you said, great performance by Coleman here tonight at Jimmy John's. Donovan coming in. 23 1/3 innings of work so far this season, striking out 28, allowing 26 hits, walking 14. Typically going to see his 4-seamer paired with his curveball, and that 4-seamer averaging just a hair over 87 miles per hour.
This is Rayburn getting a pinch hit for Frankie Luska. And a bit surprised maybe we didn't see this earlier, because Jim Essian had mentioned before the game that he'd like to see Rayburn catch a few innings, but he'll likely catch both games of the doubleheader, 6 innings each on Saturday, so maybe that weighed into the decision as well. He had talked about maybe keeping Luska in the game and having Rayburn come in for somebody else, but regardless, he gets a huge at-bat in the 9th inning and a tie score. Going to try to reach on an infield single. My goodness, what a tough hop for Santiago. Loops over his head, and Rayburn on first base. We'll see what they scored. It's a hit, they say. His first professional hit in the 9th.
Well, it looks like it was a tough play for everybody. Hopping over Donovan, you can see Santiago had some trouble, and then Lynch, bit of an odd bobble there.
So the 5th hit of the night, they did count that John Hodo ball in the 6th as a single, not a fielder's choice. So Phillips, Hodo, Rayburn, and Curiel with hits tonight. DeNicola fouls that one off.
Donovan working him inside. DeNicola, we've talked about it throughout the broadcast, Jeremy. He definitely has some pop in his bat. Perfect candidate to advance the runner here.
Time at West Virginia in the Big 12, and then at Oklahoma State in that same conference as well. 0-1, whiffed it by him. 0-2. Donovan looking to pick up what could be a big K here in the 9th. He's had both hitters down. 2 strikes. 14 walks to 28 strikeouts. Entering play tonight. And the lefty will lean a throw over to Tucker Rayburn at first. Austin Shoemaker, as expected, has stayed in the game over there, replacing McFarland as he came on to run in the top of the 9th inning after McFarland led it off with a walk. The 0-2 fastball high at 90. Donovan a fan of coming out of the bullpen. Says it just allows him to air it out a bit more in terms of his velocity. He's been up to 93 so far this season, average of 88. That changeup pounded foul. Drew Galassi is on deck. After him, Childress, and then John Pitchman. Murderers Row here in this Unicorns lineup. Here's the 1-2 outside. DeNicola staring that straight into the glove as he takes a second to regroup. Well, stick around for our Out of Lab postgame show whenever it comes. Jason Ross Jr. will catch up with our Rochester University player of the game. The 2-2 from Donovan. Swing and a miss! The cutter by DeNicola for out number 1 in the 9th.
Big strikeout there for Donovan, as you alluded to earlier, Jeremy. But Murders Row coming up. Drew Galassi, Noah Childress. Some of the most infamous bats here in the USPBL. Can wreak some havoc for sure.
With that said, they have only reached once tonight on a walk. Trying to break that trend is Drew Galassi. He's 0 for 3. Fly out, ground out, strikeout. Strikeout in his last at-bat, which was the 3rd of the game for Coleman. He finished with 6. Flubbed off the end of the bat. The 0-1. In for strike 2. Fastball outside, 1-2 now.
You can tell Galassi is really someone who takes that reset moment seriously, looks into his bat, steps into the box, gives that little bit of a hip sway there, and it's just all about getting into that routine, hitting the reset button to get ready to go.
A little bit of a balance beam there for Rayburn over at first. He reached in this inning with his first professional hit, an infield variety. Take it whatever way you can get it, right? 1-2 again. Off the handle at 91. His best fastball tonight. Can feel the tension certainly in this at-bat here. Lefty on lefty. Childress, or Galassi, sticking with some toughness. And looks at the slider all the way down. Levels the count once again. Curveball, I beg your pardon, from Donovan. Fastball, curve, change, and every once in a while the cutter. Leaning and stretching is Rayburn over at first. Takes another one low. Every pitcher hanging on a thread. They've seen a lot of close ones in the 8th and 9th, it feels like, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, that last pitch there looked like it was coming in fast, recorded at 89 on the board there, but that lefty-on-lefty matchup.
He walked him. The winning run 180 feet away from home plate.
Donovan heading into the danger zone here. We've talked about it before. Not necessarily the case in recent games, but both Galassi and Childress, they're able to do something whenever they step up to the plate, that's for sure. Galassi drawing a crucial walk there off of Donovan. Set up the righty.
Well, Coleman will have to settle for the no decision here tonight. There's no other action in the pen, so kind of Donovan's inning. The run scores, it's over, obviously. So not a lot of time for Cole Stanton to warm up. Childress bats with 1 out. Fastball, a strike on the corner for strike 1.
Donovan able to attack the zone early successfully.
Oh, 1 popped him up foul. Pitchman on deck. Colby Johnson after him. And you'd figure if we get to either of those two hitters, there's going to be a result. If they're out of it or if they're winning it.
Oh, we both gave a shrug in that look, Jeremy. Murder's Row was the perfect description here for what Donovan is gearing up to face and currently facing here. 0-2 on Childress.
Here it comes. It's kind of how these innings have gone, isn't it? Fouling off, tough pitch after tough pitch, looking at close pitches just around the zone.
These arms are putting up a fight today, Jeremy.
Just a subtle breeze blowing to left center field. If Childress wants to go to the pull field, the 0-2 tried to check it. He could not. Donovan etches strikeout number 2 into the books here in the 9th. And now he's 3 pitches away from getting out of this thing and punching an extra inning appearance again.
A crucial strikeout there for Donovan. 2 outs, runners on first and second, and that'll bring up Kevin Lambert, 0 for 1 on the day. Coming in place of Pinchman.
The Unicorns have only had 1 runner on third base. That was Curiel back in the 3rd inning. They've only had 2 runners. Actually, make it 3 on second. And now Donovan is 0-2 on Pitchman, trying to strike out the side despite the 2 base runners. You can see it, the deep sigh. The edge around the mound. He comes set and ready to roll with runners on first and second in the bottom of the 9th. The 0-2 again pounded foul.
Just comes down to throwing competitive pitches with 2 strikes on. The batters, Donovan has done an excellent job of getting ahead in counts so far this inning.
Got him! Strikeout number 9 combined between Coleman and Donovan. Some trouble here in the 9th. Only the 2nd time the Unicorns have had multiple runners on base. And we're going to have a short pause in the action here. It's a 0-0 game. We will continue in a few minutes after some festivities here at Jimmy John's Field. We'll see who comes out for the 10th inning. One thing we do know is that we'll have the international tie-breaking run coming out in the 10th. Back with more after this here on the USPBL Network.
Hello. Lovely home, by the way, but it looks like you could use some new flooring.
Now at the Carpet Guys, you get 4 years interest-free financing. Plus, we're taking extra precautions to ensure the safety of our customers.
Be wise and call the Carpet Guys.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the 9th and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the 9th, but we're the home team. and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're gonna be like, it's not possible. But I'll guess it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
Welcome back, everyone, to Jimmy John's Field. The kids running the bases as it's getting a bit late here tonight, getting that in between innings. We will have extra innings in the 10th. We'll see Nafi Mercedes, Tyler Blom, and Connor Bagneski come up for the Beavers. Obviously, anytime you have a 0-0 game, I guess there can be a couple instances. Maybe it's the offense is not capitalizing, but tonight it is the pitchers capitalizing for the most part. Maybe a circle the 9th inning after the leadoff single by the top of the order and say, you know, normally the Unicorns would get a run in that scenario, but credit to Charles Donovan, who ended up striking out 3, Jenna.
Yeah, I mean, he's just coming off backpacking a performance by Coleman that was absolutely dazzling. Talked about it before, only allowing 4 hits, walking 2, striking out 6. And looking on the Unicorn side of things, Sereno put up a fight. There were some weak contact there, but specifically that bullpen for the Unicorns really backed him up. When we think about all the arms that came out there, we're going to be implementing the international tiebreaker rule. We're going to see Eric Santiago, one of the newer faces here in the USPBL, on second for the Beavers. And as you mentioned, Jeremy Mercedes will be the first one up to bat.
We'll have that runner and the at-bat when we get back here in the USPBL Network.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC, Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
Brandon Krenrich back out there for what is his second full work of innings here. He had a single batter in the 8th, which he struck out. Christian LeBoy. Eric Santiago, the runner that will start at second base to begin the 10th inning as Navy Mercedes comes to the plate. 8-9-1 for the Beavers here. Lambert over at third base, who made a nice play at the end of the 9th inning to strand a base runner at second base, is pinching in. Hodo creeping in behind the runner at second to keep him close. Now the 1-0. Fastball off the glove as Santiago scampers to third. And now a 2-0 count as well on Navy Mercedes.
In situations like this, it's crucial to be close to the strike zone. International tiebreaker. Santiago's now on third, and Jeremy, it's a little odd to see the board completely wiped again, because previously when we've had to go into this tiebreaker rule, it was really only the 7th or 8th inning given the time frame.
Now the 2-0. Infielder still playing in at this point as Santiago takes third. Kind of in between. Now they back up a few steps as well. The 3-0, fly ball to left. Going to hang it a bit too much, though, as it scurries over the bullpen and bouncing to the left of one of those umbrellas down there.
That does seem like it'd be a nice place to sit on a warm, sunny day.
Yeah. Get a good view as well if you're right on the rail, the drink rail. You can kind of go all around the ballpark in most spots. It will not challenge the runner, or the fielder, I should say, as Santiago remains at third. And now Tyler Blom comes up and looking to deliver big. We've already seen Austin Shoemaker used. He's now at first base in the spot of Travis McFarland. We've seen Collier Rutledge used as well. He's in the designated hitter spot. He's a few places away. And Celaya, the lone man left on the bench for Ed Campanella tonight. The late kick and the first pitch to him, 92, in for strike one. That's one thing for Krenrich tonight. Probably the most consistent, best velocity we've seen out of him this year, while also mixing in mostly outs. Leadoff walk to McFarland. Shoemaker stole a base in his spot.
91-mile-per-hour fastball there for strike two on Blom.
Lunging, just got a piece of the slider, which has been a good pitch for him tonight. Krenrich wants to reset. Working now with Tucker Rayburn behind the plate as Luska departed. They're going to try to come home. They're going to tag him out. Straight on the chest. Santiago for the second out as Blom settles for a fielder's choice. Still playing in a little bit were those infielders, and that certainly helped in that scenario. Hard hit ball right at Lambert, who's played well defensively since subbing in late.
Lambert retiring the threat there. Now runner on first.
But here's Bagneski, who's not going to go down without a fight here.
Pesky Bagneski.
Yep. Let's patent it here. Get the copyright. First pitch to Connor, in for strike one. A rare strikeout for him, was back in the 8th, only his 7th of the year, compared to 12 walks. Has an infield single, also has a straight single back in the 3rd and stole a base there as well. His 8th swipe of the year. That one got past. What a bounce! Throws to second, and it skips by Curiel. We've seen some wacky plays here tonight, haven't we? That was, I don't know if that bounced off the brick, which is barely visible down there behind the plate, or it could have been the metal, which kind of rises up and meets the backstop, separating the fans from the netting. Here's the 0-1. Shifted foul again.
We've seen a couple of goofy plays here in the USPBL, Jeremy, that's for sure.
I don't think you could call it goofy here tonight, but the triple play was something, wasn't it? 1-4-3. Always fun to see those. A.J. Coleman starting that, and a big reason for 2 of the 3 outs.
Yeah, what a memory for the Beavers.
Righty on lefty. Here's the 1-2 to Bagneski. Slider that looked like it was for sure headed away from the zone, but closer than anticipated. But Bagneski lays off anyway. And now they're just going to intentionally walk Connor here.
Bagneski is similar to Galassi, and with them being some of the best bats in the league, they always have that routine before stepping into the box to reset. For Bagneski, he likes to readjust his glove strap, give that little bit of a half swing, and then go. But that just shows how mental of a sport the game of baseball is.
And probably the only way you do that to Connor is obviously with the lead runner not allowing Bagneski to steal, unless Shoemaker is able to swipe a bag here. Or Blom, I beg your pardon, at second.
Rutledge up to bat now, was previously able to draw a walk today.
Was Cole off the bench as well. 0-1, straight fastball. Watched it fly, 0-2. The Unicorns will have 6, 7, 8 due up. Ryan Ray technically available off the bench. He's also a available arm if need be for the Corns tonight. And if this does go a few extra innings, you might just see him. Because really, Krenrich is kind of the last guy here.
I don't like that, the Corns.
Here's the 1-2. Pounded back. So some decent news as well for this pitching staff. Number one, they've added an arm, really 2. Colton Williams is listed on the lineup card here tonight. He will not be activated technically until Saturday, where he'll pitch an inning. But that's an arm we haven't seen since opening week. 1-2, slider and a dandy of one. Krenrich punches away his second batter here tonight and strands a couple big runners in the 10th. To the bottom we go. Let's see if the Unicorns can win it.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
Charles Donovan out for his second inning of work in the bottom of inning number 10. A little misleading if you just look at a line score, what he did in the 9th. There were 2 base runners that reached. The leadoff man was an infield single to the pinch hitter, Tucker Rayburn. He was moved to second after the one-out walk by Drew Galassi, but after that, Noah Childress struck out, John Pitchman struck out, and the inning was over, and that's how we headed to extras. Could we see an 11th inning? We'll see. Jason Ross Jr. is patiently waiting at field level to interview our player of the game. We'll see when he'll be able to do that. And really open for interpretation who it will be if we do end in a tie, which it's unlikely at this point unless we literally run out of pitching for both of these sides. Then it would probably be A.J. Coleman here tonight.
There's really no doubt about it. Coleman's stellar performance, we've talked about it over and over on today's broadcast. Just really bringing the heat today.
John Pitchman, actually Lambert, I beg your pardon, is on second base. And now they're going to walk Colby Johnson to face Curiel. So looking to force the force at first, second, or third. They've started over on the board, as Jenna referenced. It would read all zeros anyway, besides the hit column.
Yeah, Johnson not recording a hit yet today, striking out, looking in the 8th, but just circling back to his performance so far this season in the USPBL has absolutely dominated at the plate.
First pitch high to Curiel.
I'd say Curiel is a sneaky threat here in this spot. 2 for 3 today with 2 singles. Ability to send the ball to all fields. I would definitely describe Curiel as someone who makes contact more often than not. Puts the ball in play. That's really all you need in this situation with runners on first and second.
Hits the deck. Little Haywood's up hello and an 88-mile-an-hour fastball there. 2-1 on Curiel. Looking to reach for the 3rd time today. If he does, it might be the end of the game.
You know, Curiel just adding more dirt to the uniform, the usual.
There's a few spots on the side and the back that could still fully complete it, I guess. Bagneski playing extremely shallow in center field. There he is, nearly halfway to second base. Here's the 2-2. Line drive right to him. It's going to drop. And boy, did it pay off.
Great throw into home as well. Bagneski, man, he displays that 6th sense out in center field there. It seems as though he always finds himself in the right position, makes the right call on when to charge or backdrop on the ball.
And I'm not sure he would have rounded third anyway. It was a ball that was fairly hard hit, but it at least takes it out of the equation, I guess. Gosh, he played that like an infield hop as we look at it again on our YouTube monitor here. And had a dribbler into Blom behind the plate. So now the pond full of ducks as the infielders come in with no outs. Sticky situation for Donovan as Phillips tucks it back to the screen. No outs. Bottom of the order due up next and John Hodo. These two have reached a combined twice. A single for both. The 0-1 away. A fastball that time.
That single was a line drive to center previously, grounded out in the first and struck out in the 8th. Here for Phillips.
Mercedes on the left side at third base, Santiago at short, Lynch at second, and Austin Shoemaker recently taking over for McFarland at first after he pinch ran. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Corkscrewed Phillips into the ground. And now John Hodo will have a chance to end the ball game here. He's driven in 4 runs this year. A walk could also do it. A balk could do it. A lot of options. A dumper into the outfield. Maybe even a fly ball deep enough. It could just go over the outfielders' heads because at this point they're going to be playing in.
Interested to see Hodo's approach to the plate. He's made it clear that so far this season he's been trying to work on being more aggressive in the box, not only on the first pitch, but also seeing the different off speeds and breaking balls coming his way. So Donovan's arsenal and runners, well, bases loaded. Interested to see what happens.
Lambert at third, the potential winning run. Johnson at second, Curiel on first. Virtually meaningless runners if the runner comes in. Here's a pop-up, gets in front of Bagneski, dives, can't make the play, and the winning run will score! Kevin Lambert, in the most improbable fashion, will give the Unicorns a 1-0 win here tonight.
Tricky situation before. Bagneski playing in not so deep in center, but just drops in where he's not sure if he can go in for the dive or play the ball off the hop and able to score a runner.
I mean, you know, watching it live, I thought that if he handled that cleanly, he may have had a good shot to throw out Lambert, but watching it a second time, Lambert was also kind of ranging off the third base bag pretty far, waiting to see if it would have been caught or not. It's not like he went back to the bag. So it would have been a close play maybe if he got a clean throw, a line drive throw to home plate, but I don't think you can really chalk that one up to Bagneski in that situation as well. And an interesting thought, as P.J. Gradowski, our director, points out, that was close to an infield fly roll as well.
Yeah, no, for sure, and especially with there only being one out and having runners behind you, you're more comfortable to get that bigger lead on the bag to see what's going to happen there in the outfield.
Jason Ross Jr. will catch up with our player of the game when we get back on the USPBL Network.
If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorn. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you. If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we're unicorns. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me, stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you.
Hello. Lovely home, by the way, but it looks like you could use some new flooring.
Now at the Carpet Guys, you get 4 years interest-free financing. Plus, we're taking extra precautions to ensure the safety of our customers.
Be wise and call the Carpet Guys.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the ninth and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the ninth, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a fifth third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're gonna be like, it's not possible. But I'll guess it is.
This is banking, a fifth third better.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Player of the game, Utica Unicorns first baseman John Hodo. I'm Jason Ross Jr. John, a little blooper in the bottom of the 10th there to walk things off. You just told me you were working on your timing entering today. You've been so consistent of late. What were you working on entering today?
Just sticking with my approach and, just hunting fastballs and just trying to just be a tough out.
And what were you looking for at the plate there on that pitch that you just blooped in the right center field?
I was looking fastball, but I was a little late, but it works out. Baseball is crazy. Them bloopers fall, it's all good though.
And John, I just talking about your, I guess, mentality off the field. One of your favorite sports is basketball. We've talked about that in the past. You hear the word clutch associated with that sport a lot. For you to come up clutch here, what is the key to doing that in a big situation, staying relaxed and not trying to do too much?
Oh, you hit it right on here. Just staying calm, man. You know, it's just the same approach, same mentality. Don't let the moment be too big. Just be the moment. You know, just relish in it and just dominate and just be the best you can.
Your team has dominated for the vast majority of the season. You guys have only lost consecutive games once so far this year. That was your 17th win of the season. What do you attest to the team's success that you've seen so far this year?
Oh, the team is playing well. We pitching well. We playing defense well. We being tough box, being savages in the box. I think that's the biggest thing too moving forward. Just keep being a tough out, and the pitchers gonna do their thing. We just gotta just make plays behind them and just keep going.
Thanks, John. Really appreciate your time and good luck moving forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's John Hodo, Utica Unicorns second baseman after the walk-off win, 1-0 over the Beavers today here at Jimmy John's Field.